there's a little pop-up.
Yeah, there's a pop-up.
Awesome. All right, so Jonas and Greg, thank you so much for talking to me. Would you share a little bit about this brand and the reason why you guys are talking digital fashion, and who are you guys?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thanks for the invitation, for talking to us, and for your interest. So my name is Jonas. I am one of the co-founders for R-O-H-B-A-U, which is a German-based digital fashion brand. And I am here with my co-founder, Greg. And yeah, both of us, we've connected about 1 year ago through an event that we both attended. And Greg is coming from a startup background. I myself come from a tech background, so I work at Google and YouTube outside of this digital fashion project. And both of us, we connected because we had a common interest in fashion. And Greg, coming from the startup background, he was already working on launching different B2C brands. So he was already busy looking at different ways that they can launch B2C brands. And through our common interest in fashion, we're like, yeah, let's work on a B2C brand from a fashion perspective. So both of us were like brainstorming a lot, talking, what can we do in the fashion space, what's really relevant at the moment. And for us, it was, number one, really important to do something that's sustainable, and then on the other side, to do something that's really groundbreaking and that maybe is in the fashion tech space as well, because I think I come from a tech background, so for me it was quite interesting to see if we can do something in the fashion tech space, and this is really where the innovation is happening. So we connected, we talked a lot, and through a common connection in Berlin, we were brought to the attention to the whole digital fashion industry, and it was really interesting for us and really new to learn about this whole digital fashion thing. And we're lucky enough to have a really cool connection in the digital fashion space. His name is Asaf Reb. He's a digital fashion designer. He's also a founder of another digital fashion company, which is called IVA. And he has a fashion background. So he studied here in London at the Central St. Martin University, fashion design. So he's a traditional fashion designer, but also a founder of a digital fashion startup. So it was the perfect match for us to collaborate with him on like a first try in the digital fashion space. So yeah, with him in collaboration, we were able to design our first digital fashion product, our digital garment. He was responsible for the design aspects, and Greg and I were responsible for the whole brand building, for the marketing campaign and everything behind, just building a B2C brand. So yeah, we worked together, we collaborated for quite a while. It took like, I think about a year for us to be ready for the launch, which then happened in February this year. And yeah, we launched with like a big influencer splash. We had a lot of influencers who were interested in the whole idea of digital fashion, who helped us promote the brand. And since the launch in late February, like the attention to digital fashion just has exploded. It was like really huge. Before Corona, people were already really interested, but then once the lockdown happened, once the whole world just had to stay at home, there was just an overwhelming attention on digital fashion, and there was like overwhelming attention on our brand as well. Like we've had people from Vogue reach out to us. We've been featured in Vogue magazine. We've had people from Forbes magazine reach out to us and have been featured there. So yeah, the brand awareness has really been great. We think that digital fashion, it comes from, like, the idea comes from a gaming background where people already pay for digital items that they can dress up their gaming characters with, right? So in gaming, you can just buy like a piece of clothing for your gaming character. So we thought, okay, why, if people already are ready to spend money for clothing that they can only dress their gaming characters with, for sure people will also be ready to spend money on digital items that they can use to dress up their digital characters, like on Instagram or whatever the social media platform.
So I'm thinking I'm going to break in for a minute, because I'm thinking, if somebody's sitting here listening, this is all interesting, but this is so difficult to understand. So I think I'm just going to share my screen for a minute, because I just pulled up. So this is what happened to me, right? I reached out to you on your web shop. I purchased a hoodie. I would send you an image. And then a few days later, I received this image of this extremely cool hoodie. So thank you so much for that. But just to kind of give people an idea about what happens, how does this work?
Yeah.
So this was my experience, and the image is extremely cool and so detailed. And I was sitting at the office together with a bunch of fashion designers, and we instantly started brainstorming about what is the business case here. All right, so what if I am a influencer? All of a sudden, I don't need to get all the shit sent to me. I can just do digital solutions, right? And I can be a real media platform as an influencer, because I can push this content out. But we were talking also about, hey, I'm buying stuff on a web shop and I don't know what this looks on me. The model on the web shop is nice and curvy or really slim, and I'm a different type. So what would these things look on me? And I could instantly shop them on and try them on. But then I also thought about all the gamers I'm watching on Twitch, and I was like, oh my gosh, we could do fashion shows, and there's a massive fashion arena in the gaming world that not even Nike or Adidas or some of the other first movers within fashion, they normally pick up on. It's really, really slow picking up on gaming fashion. But what kind of motivation did kickstarted this for you guys?
So our main motivation is to basically bring fashion into the real life digital world. As you see, as we already mentioned, in gaming, it's already a common thing to buy fashion skins. If you look at Fortnite, for example, or this recent phenomenon of Animal Crossing becoming basically a fashion marketing platform. And we believe that this is just the beginning. That gaming is just this lowest hanging fruit medium where people can express their digital creativity and also their digital individuality through fashion. But we believe in the next step of this development, this will not only be displayed on virtual avatars, but also on the actual human beings themselves, on their real life avatars, and what the platform.
So just to give a small perspective, as somebody was, listening to our conversation here, Fortnite made $1.8 million on skins and accessories last year in 2019. Just to give, we're not talking about a small industry. There's big money.
Absolutely, and we believe there's even bigger potential in the sphere of real life avatars, because as you can see in games like Fortnite or Animal Crossing, there you have a digital game avatar that you dress on. But everybody already has their real social media alter ego on Instagram, on Facebook, on Snapchat, on wherever. And this is where we want to bring digital fashion to, basically to the real digital world. And this is our main motivation.
So to, say, all right, in maybe just within a year or two, the idea of this digital hoodie that I tried to purchase this time would then be elevated into a space where I have maybe used my phone to generate an avatar, and I would then use that avatar whenever I would go into a web shop and try to purchase something?
Possibly. I'm not sure if this will happen within a year, because body scanning technologies, they're all in development for multiple years already, and it's quite a complex topic to just recreate yourself as a real life digital avatar. And this is why we are starting on the step before that. We're leveraging the social media avatars that people already have, and this is basically their Instagram profile for now.
Very cool, very cool. So my biggest question is now, how am I going to get this hoodie? It looks really cool, right? So this is the only frustration between the digital and the physical, right? I look good in a hoodie. I really want it. How can I get it now?
Jonas?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the process of getting a digital hoodie is quite easy. You can just send us a picture, and our digital fashion designer will render the hoodie on the image of yourself, and it will be like a custom version of that digital item. But yeah, getting that version or that hoodie into real life, it's unfortunately not possible. But also, we think that's the cool thing about digital fashion, that in digital fashion you're able to use materials that you can't use in the real world, right? So in digital fashion, all of a sudden you can wear like a burning hoodie, or you can wear like something that looks like the Silver Surfer, or any effects are possible, really. Like you can wear something really crazy and spaced out, and that's something that's not available in the real life or in the real world. So we think that yeah, it's too bad that we can use it in the real world, but on the other side, it's also super cool that you can be that creative in the digital space and wear anything you want.
So you're exploring a whole new market in the mashup between the big trend within buying skins and personalizing an avatar in the gaming world, and trying to mobilize that to, for some at least, poorly bad pictures on our social platforms, and the trend within the fact that we're positioning ourselves in our personal space through an Instagram, through a Facebook, on a LinkedIn, where we're always, we always need somebody to take a good picture. Now we can actually just take one picture, and we can shop for digital fashion and dress up like a avatar then on our social platforms, and get access to fashion that is maybe the trend that will be that it's never possible to get access to it in real life, because it's only in the digital space.
Exactly. And just to give a little view on future collections, with our first drop with our digital hoodie, we've been quite conservative when it came to the design. So it was, I mean, the materials themselves, like the chrome or this iridescent liquid blue material, they were quite radical design-wise. But in the end, I mean, it's a hoodie. For the future and for our next digital collection, we're planning to go way more crazy on the
aggressive.
and also there we won't strive for people actually wanting to wear it as a physical piece, but to be so overwhelmed by it that it looks so cool as a digital piece. For example, imagine yourself wearing a dress with chrome wings on the back or something like this. So this is the slight direction we're moving into in the near future.
That sounds extremely cool. What is some of the initial feedback you're getting from customers that are finding their way to digital fashion? What is their motivation for purchasing a digital hoodie? What do you hear from them?
I just love it. I think like the feedback that we get from the customers is that to most people, this is completely new. Most people haven't ever heard of digital fashion. So it always strikes a conversation. Always people are like, whoa, what the hell is this? So it gets people thinking, and then people just get really amazed by it. Because the looks of the items, they're so out there, the materials are so crazy that they're just like, oh my God, what is this? Like the people who post it on their Instagrams, they usually have threads of 50 to 80 people commenting, what is this hoodie? Oh my God, what is this? So it's really a conversation starter. It's people can express their creativity, they can express their individuality with something like this. So yeah, the feedback so far has been
I
really
see great potential as well. You know, you go on your Snapchat and they have generated a cartoon-like avatar of yourself. You can always only, you know, use the standardized possibilities within their system. And on the other hand, we see the very, very narrow way of communicating an avatar on other social platforms. It's being just one picture. I can't wait to send a, you know, full-size picture and you can dress it up with wings and flames and whatever comes. I like that. What do you think? Do you see price point? You know, what are you thinking about people wanting to buy digital fashion?
So price-wise, we for our first collection, we decided also to go into quite a customer-oriented direction, because if you look at like high fashion streetwear, super hyped brands like, I don't know, Heron Preston or Off-White or something, there we did a little pricing analysis, and we found out that their average hoodie prices range between 300 and 600 euro. So we said that if the median of that is 400 euro, we want to be 10% of that. So people shouldn't spend more than a tenth on a digital piece if they want to buy it. But what we can imagine is if we do super limited capsule collections or something to go up with a higher price. And we're also working on a method to certify, to actually give out digital certificates, so that nobody thinks that this hoodie by Robo X brand, super hype brand, can be just photoshopped on them. So this is why we're also working on quite a sophisticated certification process for digital fashion. If we're
I was about to say that, you know, that this must not come down to the fact that it's just some graphical dude sitting and doing a, you know, a fun time. This is really creative. This is really fashionable. This is something very unique, and you can build up a big brand. I could definitely see now, you know, that we come across blockchain earlier as well. I could definitely see, you know, a digital certificate stating, you know, there was a unique invention point when you created this piece of fashion, just like any other design process.
Exactly.
I like that. Very cool.
Cool.
So what is the plans for this year? You're saying that there's coming collections coming up. You're still a startup. You're you two and a couple of more on the team, or?
So from the company perspective, we are part of the startup company builder 100 Cherries that I co-founded with a friend early last year, and Robo is one of the startups at 100 Cherries, and so far it's just Jonas and myself on the co-founders level. But we're also working with freelancers. So we have a team of digital tailors who are manually tailoring all the customers' purchase pieces, such as yours a couple of days ago. And we're also working with different designers to actually co-create garments. And in terms of plans, we're definitely planning a next first-party collection. But since we don't really depend on traditional fashion seasons, we're quite flexible when it comes to releasing it, and we're also working on collaborations. Unfortunately, we can't say much about the collaboration topic while it's being recorded, but we can also speak later about that as well.
But don't you see there's a big possibility within the collabs of brands not being able to work with digital fashion themselves because they don't have the team or the competencies, and they could do collabs with you?
Absolutely,
Yes.
huge potential.
Exactly. That's like, we already see that as one of like the big potentials for our brand, and this is what we can offer to the brands. Exactly what you just mentioned. They don't have the competencies, the background in the digital fashion space, and we can offer that. So we're already talking to a few brands here, and yeah, later this year there will be some cool collaborations with Robo and some other partners.
The last point I'm thinking about is the target group for digital fashion, because it's I'm suspecting it's not just not yet, at least, the average person, but it's not either, or it's not only gamers either. It's like a hybrid of some sort. What do you think? There's a target group you could describe?
Absolutely. So if we would have to give a name to our core target group, I would say it's the Gen Z and Gen Alpha fashionista.
Yeah.
So that's more.
I think that covers it pretty much. Young hipster people that constantly spent 12, 18 hours on their phone.
Yes.
Constantly having to talk to their communities and their friends and whatever it is.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, guys, for jumping on a call. I'm going to end the recording here, but thank you, Greg and Jonas. And I can definitely recommend go visit Roba and see their digital designs and more to come.
Cool.
But I'm going to end the conversation and the recording here, and hopefully we can catch up another time.
Cool. Thanks for having us.